Decline of Indian Railways. Friends, the year was 1853. The date, April 16. The location, Bori Bandar Station in Bombay. A 14-carriage train carrying 400 passengers completed a 34 kilometers journey to Thane. This small journey sparked a revolution for the country, Indian Railways. That day, no one might have imagined that this initiative would become the world's fourth largest railway system. From that day until today, Indian Railway has came a long way. Though it was originally established by colonial powers to exploit our resources, in independent India, this system became the backbone of the nation. It played a crucial role in the country's economic and social development. With 1,32,310 kilometers of tracks, Indian Railway serves 23 million people daily. These people come from villages, small towns, and metropolitan cities for education, jobs, business, or just travel. This means that it not only transports people but also spreads development across the nation. It is considered the world's ninth largest employer, providing employment to 1.2 lakh people and contributing 1.5% to the country's GDP. Its contribution to goods and transportation is even greater. As of November 2024-25, the railways transported 906.9 million tons of freight, which is 2.2% more than the previous year. These statistics show that Indian Railways drive not just passengers but also business growth in the country. However, now take a look at the videos circulating on social media. These clips make it seem like the very lifeline of the country, Indian Railway, is in crisis. Challenges facing the Indian Railways. The railway infrastructure is outdated, leading to declining efficiency. Overcrowding and mismanagement are creating serious risk daily. Stampede-like incidents at Jalgaon and New Delhi railway station expose the fragile state of railway security. Despite 97% broad gauge electrification, 95% of accidents are caused by driver errors, highlighting the poor working condition of railway employees. On top of that, financial strategies in this sector make an improvement nearly impossible. Freight transport, which once accounted for 80% of the railway revenue, has now dropped to just 29%, weakening the competitive edge of the Indian Railways. In the 2025-26 budget, rupees 2.52 lakh crore was allocated to the railways, but experts believe that this is insufficient to improve its condition. In summary, Indian Railway is at a critical turning point. If immediate action is not taken, the system could derail, affecting millions who depend on it and delivering a major shock to the country's economy. So, in today's discussion, we will decode the crisis. If you want to understand all its aspects, stay with us till the end. Let's begin. Key issues haunting Indian Railways. The first one, over-dependence on freight revenue. Let's start with the railway finances. For decades, Indian Railways was so crucial to the economy that it had a separate budget. In 1924, based on the Ackworth Committee recommendations, the railway budget was introduced. However, after 92 years, it was merged into the union budget in 2016. The logic behind this was to improve planning, integrate resources, and provide a holistic approach to the railway management. Today, this sector is in financial distress. To understand this, first you should know that Indian Railways is a state-owned enterprise under the Ministry of Railways. In 1951, it was formed by merging 42 railway companies, and it now manages 18 zones across the country. The Indian Railway network consists of express, passenger, and freight trains carrying billions of passengers and millions of tons of freight every year. Its revenue mainly comes from the passenger fare, freight charges, and some non-fare sources like advertisements, station redevelopment, and railway land leasing. But one long-standing issue is a high operating ratio, meaning that expenses exceed the earnings. For example, in 2022-23, Indian Railways earned rupees 63,416 crore from passenger services, while the freight revenue was rupees 1,60,000 158 crore. This means that about 66% of the revenue comes from the freight. However, the operating ratio for passenger services in 2022-23 was 180.82, meaning that for every rupees 100 earned, rupees 181 was spent. If you have ever noticed, every railway ticket states that the passenger fare recovers only 57% of the cost. The remaining 43% is a loss. As a result, in 2022-23, the passenger business suffered a loss of rupees 58,998 crore. Surprisingly, except for AC 3 tier, all other classes in the Indian Railways operate at a loss. So how is the loss covered? The answer is freight. The freight OR is 66.97, generating a surplus of rupees 56,330 crore, which helps cover passenger business losses. However, this cross-subsidy model is outdated and is now failing. Railways' heavy dependence on the freight revenue is dangerous. Until Indian Railways improves its OR, investment in safety and infrastructure maintenance will remain inadequate. Freight rates are kept high to subsidize cheap passenger fare, causing a shift in freight transport to road networks. Once, railway handled 80% of the freight transport. Now, it's down to just 29%. Similarly, roadways have captured 94% of the passenger traffic. Addition to the problem, 48% of the freight volume and 50% of the revenue comes from coal transportation. However, as India transitions to cleaner energy, this freight revenue is also at risk. Thus, the Indian Railway must find new revenue sources. Second, passenger business. Revenue up, passengers down. Now let's talk about the passenger fares. Indian Railways follow a telescopic rating fare structure where per kilometer charges decreases as the distance increases. For millions in India, trains are the only affordable long distance travel option. For instance, the Kerala Express covers 3033 kilometers from Thiruvananthapuram to New Delhi, while the Mumbai-Dibrugarh Express travels 3147 kilometers. The telescopic rating helps maintain affordability. But what's the problem? Indian Railway had its peak years in 2012-13 when 8.4 billion passengers travelled by the train. However, since then, passenger volume has declined significantly. For example, in 2022-23, only 6396 million passengers used the railway. Lower class passenger volumes have still not recovered even 2 to 3 years after the COVID. Yet, despite this decline, railway revenue has increased by 133% from 2012-13 to 2023-24, mainly due to its fare hikes. Additionally, in 2020, 500 second-class ordinary trains were converted into mail or express trains, increasing the fare by 86%. As a result, the share of second-class ordinary trains has dropped from 28.5% to 3.9%, while second-class mail express and the upper-class share have increased. The proportion of second-class seats and the berth has decreased from 86% to 72%, with more focus on upper-class travel. This shift is boosting revenue but making travel tougher for the common man. Further, fare hikes could drive passengers away. So what's the solution? To stabilize the Indian Railways financially, two things are needed. First one is cost efficiency. Form an interdisciplinary standing committee to eliminate inefficiencies. And the second one is government subsidy. Gross budgetary support should be divided into two categories. One to cover passenger losses and other for critical infrastructure investment. This will reduce the burden of cross-subsidizing the passengers segment. Freight businesses can then focus on gradually increasing market share rather than just raising the rates. Additionally, the ticket pricing system must shift from slab-based to per kilometer structure. For example, Currently, rates are at the same for the distances between 501 to 550 kilometers. But at 551 kilometer, ticket prices jumped by rupees 50. At per kilometer increase of less than rupees 1 would be a more balanced approach. This simple change can improve both revenue and traffic distribution across the network. Dedicated freight corridors. Along with this, dedicated freight corridors also provide Indian Railways the opportunity to transform its transportation game. The Eastern Corridor is fully completed and the Western Corridor is 90% ready, but there has been no significant improvement in the freight performance so far. In reality, this project was built exclusively for freight trains to free up space on India's congested rail network, where both passenger and freight traffic currently share the same tracks. For your information, the Western DFC runs from Dadri in Uttar Pradesh to Jawaharlal Nehru Port in Navi Mumbai, while the Eastern DFC stretches from Ludhiana in Punjab to Dankuni in West Bengal. These two corridors are expected to transport about 70% of Indian Railways' total freight. However, to fully utilize this network, Indian Railways need to change its operational strategy. Due to scheduled passenger trains, freight trains currently do not follow a fixed schedule. However, on dedicated corridors, scheduled freight trains can be introduced. Moreover, fixed transit times with better speeds can enable more competitive pricing. Scheduled freight trains can also help address delays at interchange points. According to experts, Indian Railways should allow private train operators to play a bigger role. In 2010, a scheme for automobile train operators was introduced, but it saw no significant growth. Experts now suggest reviving a private freight scheme and establishing an independent regulatory agency. Currently, Indian Railways acts as both a player and a regulator, which is not conducive to private sector growth. Acute manpower shortage. Now friends, if we talk about the next big problem facing the Indian Railways, the manpower crisis has become a major issue. This problem directly affects railway safety and operational efficiency. A key reason for this crisis is the slow and inadequate recruitment process of the Indian Railways. According to the Railway Board, in 2024, there was 1.52 lakh vacant safety category post, which constituted about 15% of the total sanctioned post. Train controllers who manage the train movement also face a similar situation. Indian Railways has sanctioned strength of 3,000 controllers, but only 2,500 are currently on duty. These workers do not even get a proper weekly off. Additionally, approximately 20,000 employees retire every year. Between 2010 and 2020, 2 lakh employees retired, while only 1.5 lakh were hired. Between 2020 and 2024, 80,000 employees retired, but only 50,000 new recruits joined. This mismatch highlights the staffing shortage. Furthermore, in 2022, 150 candidates were sought for the Indian Railway Management Service, but only 130 were selected. And of those, only 40 joined the training. The situation did not improve in 2023 either. Out of 150 posts, only 84 candidates were selected. In some railway zones, posts are being surrendered under the name of manpower rationalization. For example, South Central Railway has planned to eliminate 1839 posts in 2024-25. Due to this shortage, the workload on existing staff has increased significantly. Employees are forced to work overtime, with some working continuous shifts of up to 16 hours. In some cases, loco pilots are working 124 hours a week instead of standard 104 hours, negatively impacting their physical and mental health and increasing the risk of human errors and accidents. For instance, in 2023, there were 120 derailments, and experts believe that 40% of them were due to staff shortages. Fatigue, negligence, miscommunication, and lack of proper training are also the major cause of accidents. A safety committee for Indian Railways formed in 2012 recommended a staff to train ratio of 1:100. However, this ratio has now worsened to 1:150. To address this crisis, the Railway Board has taken some steps. By the end of 2024, 25,000 vacancies are planned to be filled. A scheme has also been introduced to rehire retired railway staff under the age of 65 for 2 years. But this is only a temporary solution. In 2024, 12,000 engineers were trained for the Kavach system, but urgent attention is also needed for the recruitment and training of loco pilots and trackmen. To resolve this manpower crisis, Indian Railways must focus on speedy recruitment, better working condition, and long-term manpower planning. Poor infrastructure. Apart from these issues, the poor infrastructure of Indian Railways is a major concern. The numbers speak for themselves. Over the past 5 years, there have been 200 major railway accidents. The increasing derailments in the recent years are primarily due to the poor track maintenance, operational errors, and outdated signaling system. India's indigenous train collision avoidance system, Kavach, has so far been implemented on only 1548 routes kilometer. Implementation is still in progress on 3000 route kilometers along the Delhi-Mumbai and Delhi-Howrah corridors. The issue is that Kavach has not been installed on the entire railway network, preventing it from reaching its full potential. Additionally, overcrowding and overloading have made the situation even more critical. Overcrowded trains put immense pressure on the tracks and rolling stock, while the overloaded freight trains increase the risk of derailments. Many major routes are operating at 140 to 150% of their rated track capacity. According to the railway safety expert, strict standards are not followed in the maintenance of rolling stock, wagons, and coaches, which is a total failure of our railway system. To address this problem, Indian Railways is upgrading its signaling and telecom system. Automatic signaling has been installed on 15,000 kilometers. The Kavach implementation is also progressing rapidly. However, experts says installing Kavach on the existing network without halting trains is quite challenging. Additionally, Kavach does not prevent all types of collisions. It has no control over side track collisions. Indian Railway operates a total track network of 1.14 lakh kilometers, many of which are old and require renewal. According to the CAG report, there is a backlog of rupees 1 lakh crore for track renewal. Another concern is that while railway revenue is increasing, it is not being fully utilized for safety infrastructure. For example, in 2025-26 budget, rupees 22,800 crore has been allocated for track renewal. New Delhi railway station, which serves 5 lakh passengers daily, has only 16 platforms. It is also important to note that India has the world's largest railway network under a single management. The Railway Board handles its entire infrastructure. This centralized system has certain unavoidable limitations which are clearly visible in the Indian Railways. Reforming India's railway sector, the way ahead. Considering all these issues, it is evident that Indian Railways needs to focus on its core infrastructure, safety system, and passenger convenience. This is not just crucial for railway development, but also essential for the nation's economy. The government has been working in this direction. Over the past decade, rupees 13 lakh crore has been spent on railway infrastructure modernization. Electrification has reached 95%. Track length has increased and the rolling stock has been expanded. Safety and signaling system are being modernized. Mechanical signaling is being replaced with electronic interlocking system. As of November 2024, rupees 1547 crore have been invested in Kavach. In the same month, the direct drive interlocking system was commissioned for the first time at Tajpur station. To improve the passenger experience, train indication boards have been installed at 1351 stations, coach guidance systems at 866 stations, and Wi-Fi facilities at 6112 stations. Under the One Station, One Product scheme, 2163 outlets are operating at 1900 stations, providing a platform for 79,380 local artisans to sell their products. Automatic block signaling work is also progressing rapidly on high density routes. 720 route kilometers were completed in the financial year 2025, increasing the total ABS coverage to 4906 kilometers. Despite these efforts, progress in this sector is still quite slow. To ensure effective reforms, we need to improve both their speed and efficiency. Otherwise, uncontrolled delays, fatal accidents, and operational losses will become the major obstacle to the country's progress. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you.